Hello, my name is Peter Wasmeierp. In this presentation, I want to show you what I do in my free time, building an omnidirectional treadmill for VR. It is a short overview what happened from August 2018 until September 2020. Since I saw the movie Ready Player One in August 2018, I want to walk in VR, like they do in this movie. I was looking for existing treadmills, but I got frustrated. None of them were available, where you can walk like a human. The most impressive one I found is the Infinitec. It is quite impressive, but I can't afford it. Too expensive. Frustrated, I decided to create my own one. This is what I came up with. A rotating base plate as a disc, with 2 foot plates, one for each foot. The foot plates will follow the feet. Can you see the cut in the middle of the base plate? The foot plates will move along this cut and the base plate will rotate. I began to draw the basics in 3D. I used Google SketchUp Physics to see it moving. Once this one was done, I drawed more of the inside part by part. In the beginning it took a lot of time. Finally, December 2018, I finished the basics and submitted the device to the patent office. Now it was time to build it. I figured out it is getting very expensive. I did some basic tests, but I decided to stop here, because it will become too heavy and too expensive. A smaller, cheaper and lighter version is needed. It took several months to think about, looking for different motors, cheap mechanical parts, improving the algorithm, looking for cheap electronics, and how the software should look like. The math was getting more detailed over the time. I decided to create first a small version of my treadmill, to test the math and the sensors. I thought about 2 different types of foot tracking. In the upper right corner, it is done by 2 cheap cameras for each foot. In the lower right corner, small SMD electronic sensors, very cheap, and allows to make the footplate very thin. The parts arrived, time to assemble it. It took weeks, but made a lot of fun. Finally, I created the software according to my documentation. Some tests were made until I figured out, wow, this might work in real. The basics were done in small. Now I took several months to think about, again, how to improve and which components I have to use for the big brother of this one. It took about 1 year to redraw, looking for parts, suppliers, and which material to use. Part by part was created and simulated. Meanwhile, there are 299 parts until now. This August, I finally finished the most stuff. Enough to start building it. This is how my treadmill looks like now. Large enough to walk on, thin enough to store it under a bed. This video demonstrates how it will look like while you walk on it. While the person is doing step by step, the base plate will rotate and the foot plates will follow. So far, September 2020, the basic properties look like this. 86 mm thin and the diameter is 982 mm. The calculations here are not yet proven. I have to test it later on. So what's next? Well, I still need some parts. I will order them in the next couple of weeks. All other parts I have already, or are ready to print on my 3D printer. Once all parts arrived, it's time to assemble it. A lot of tests will follow. Maybe I will figure out it won't work. Maybe I will figure out the walking doesn't feel natural. So far my guess is the walking should feel like a normal walking, or at least like walking on an ordinary treadmill. But we will see what happens next. I'm still in a good mood to continue. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to be updated, just follow me on Twitter or subscribe my YouTube channel. I have no idea when the next update will come. See you and thank you for your interest.